Alrighty, welcome back to another unboxing. We have here the Final Fantasy Cloud Limit Break Commander deck. So we had previously opened the Commander pack, and we are going to just check through all the cards here, kind of read through it, see what are some of the cards included. Probably cover most of the rares and uncommons a bit more thoroughly than the commons, but I'll have indexes where each section may be. So, alright, so this has a pull tab that you can pull that I kind of already pulled. So inside, before we get to the decks, the cards itself in the deck, we have a explanation of basically what you can do. And then we have some tokens, some two-sided tokens. We got some rebels, some treasure tokens, some soldier tokens. So a good amount of tokens. Alright, so let's jump into the rares. So we have Cloud X Soldier. Has haste, 4/4, takes 5 to cast. When Cloud enters, attach up to one target equipment you control. Whenever Cloud attacks, draw a card for each equipped attack creature you control. Then if Cloud has power 7 or greater, create 2 treasure tokens. It's a one-sided card. Then we have Tifa Martial Artist. It's a 4/4 with 4 to cast, 3 colors. It has a special ability melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this combat. Interesting. So you can attack multiple opponents in commander format because there's typically 4 people playing. So if you're attacking different people, she gets additional +1/+1 counters. Whenever one or more creatures you control with power 7 or greater deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control. If this is the first combat phase of your turn, there's an additional combat phase after this turn. So basically, if you attack more than one person, let's say all 4, you get +4/+4. That makes it an 8/8. Oh, actually, no, you can't be attacking 4. You attack 3 others. It'll be a 7/7. Which will then trigger the ability when you attack everyone. Obviously, you can't attack yourself. So, and you get an additional combat phase afterwards. But that only triggers once. Alright, you have Sid, Free Flyer Pilot. It is a 2 cost for a 2/2. Equipment and vehicle spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, which is very nice. And then jump during your turn. Sid has flying. And then you tap 2, and you tap it, and you return target equipment or vehicle card from graveyard to your hand. That's very nice. Alright, we have a Cloud Limit Break. It's a 2 mana, and it's choose 1 additional cost when it's tiered. So at 0, it's cross/slash destroy target tap creature. Very nice. And this is an instant, so you can play it whenever. You pay 1 extra, you get Blade Beam. Destroy any number of target tap creatures with different controllers. So you can destroy multiple creatures, but only 1 per other player. And then you have Omni Slash. When you tap 4, destroy all tap creatures. Wow, that's pretty crazy. It's a board wipe essentially. Elena, Turk Recruit. 3 mana cost for a 1/4. When Elena enters, return target non-assassin historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Artifact, legendaries, and sagas are historic. Whenever you cast a historic spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Elena. Okay, it seems like there's some good artifacts that you can use that with. Alright, we got Heidegger, Shinra Executive. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +X+0 until the end of turn, where X is the number of soldiers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of opponents who control more creatures than you. Nice. This is get your 1/1 tokens created. Beginning of your end step, create a number of 1/1 creature tokens equal to the number of opponents who controls more creature than you. So max, you can have 3 other opponents with creatures more than you. Interesting. Alright, we've got a Helitrooper, 2 costs for 1/2, flying. When the creature attacks another target, creature gains flying until end of turn. Oh, that's nice. Equipped abilities you activate that target this creature costs 2 less to activate. Equip abilities you activate. Okay. So it's costs 2 less to equip. Soldier, military program, enchantment. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, choose 1. If you control a commander, you may choose both instead. So it's just 3 mana cost for enchantment. You can create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. And if you have a commander, you can put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 soldiers you control. So you can put 2 +1/+1. Well, no. You can put a +1/+1 counter on up to 2 soldiers. Okay. And this is at beginning of combat. Nice. Alright, ultimate magic, holy. 3 for an instant. Permanents you control get indestructible at the end of turn. The spell is cast from exile. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Oh, that's nice. Foretell, so for 3 cost. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it at a later turn for its foretell cost. So the foretell cost, you cast 2 to put it in exile, and then foretell it, and then you can prevent all damage. All right, Avalanche of Sector 7. You have the 3 for us. Star 3, Menace. Avalanche of Sector 7 power is equal to the number of artifact your opponents control. Interesting. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact they control, Avalanche Sector deals 1 damage to that player. Nice. Interesting mechanic. Alright. Kate Sith, Fortune Teller, 4 for a 3/3. Lucky slots. At the beginning of combat on your turn, scry 1, then exile top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile that card this way, target creature you can control gets +X+0 on the end of turn, where X is that card's mana value. Wow, this is pretty nice. You essentially scry 1 at the beginning of combat. You still may play that card this turn. And then when you exile it, you get the mana cost as a +X+0. Nice. Summon Kujata. Alright. It's a 6 for a 7/5 with trample and haste. As lightning, this creature deals 3 damage to each of the 2 target creatures. Ice, up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn. And fire, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. When you discard a card this way, this creature deals damage equal to that card's mana value to each opponent. Nice. Alright, Ultimate Magic Meteor. This is a 6 for a sorcery. Ultimate Magic. Meteor deals 7 damage to each creature. If the spell is cast from exile for each opponent, choose an artifact or land that player controls, destroy the chosen permanent. So similar to that holy, you can cast it using, you could pay 2 and then cast it from exile for the same mana cost, but it destroys an artifact or land that you get to choose. It's for each opponent. So this is essentially a 7 damage board wipe here, plus potentially a land or artifact you choose. Vincent, Vengeful Atoner for 3, a 3/3 menace. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage, you'll play put a +1/+1 counter on Vincent. And then Chaos, when Vincent deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent of Vincent's if instance power is 7 or greater. Okay, so when one or more creature you control deal combat damage. Okay, so when you hurt a player, you get a +1/+1. When he gets to power 7, when power 7 or greater, he deals combat damage to one player. Every other player gets hurt. Nice. Yuffie, Materia Hunter. It's a 3/4/3/3 with a ninjutsu ability for 2 mana. Return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking. Okay. So you can essentially attack twice. When Yuffie enters, gain control target non-creature artifact for as long as you control Yuffie. Then you may attach an equipment you control to Yuffie. Nice. Steal another player's artifact. Bugenhagen, Wise Elder, for 2, 1/3 with reach. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature with power 7 or greater, draw a card. Tap and add mana of any color. Wow, this is nice. 2 for a 1/3 with a mana. Lifestream's Blessing, 6 for an instant. Draw X cards, where X is the greatest power amongst creatures you control as you cast the spell. If this spell is cast from exile, you gain twice the life. So you pay 6. And then you gain twice. Nice. So essentially it's 7 mana for pretty significant life heal. All right, Professor Hojo, 2 for a 2/2. The first active ability you activate during your turn that targets a creature you control costs 2 less to activate. Wow. Nice. Whenever one or more creatures you control become target of an activated ability, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Activated ability, okay, so it doesn't have to be other people's, it could be yours as well, and you could draw some good cards. Well, you could draw one card. Alright, Summoning Materia. 3 for artifact equipment. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. As long as you may cast creature spells. Nice. Equipped creature gets +2 and has vigilance, and tap and add green mana. 2 to equip. This is very nice. Aerith, Last Ancient. For 4, you get a 3/5 with a lifelink. Raise. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. If you gain 7 more life this turn, return that card to the battlefield instead. Very nice. Some good synergies with some cards. We got Barret, Avalanche Leader, for 4/4/4/4 reach. Avalanche. When equipment you control enters, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target rebel you control. It's free attach. You got red 8, red 13, Proud Warrior, Vigilance, Trample, 3/4/3/3. Other modified creatures you control have Vigilance and Trample. So those are creatures with equipment, auras, and counters or modifications. So Cosmo Memory, when red 13 enters, return target aura equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice. Sephiroth, Fallen Hero, 5 for a 7/5. Interesting. Genova Cells. When Sephiroth attacks, you may put a cell counter on target creature. Until end of turn, each modified creature you control has a base power and toughness 7/5. That's pretty solid. The Reunion, tap 3, sacrifice a modified creature, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Wow, this is actually crazy powerful. Conformer Shuriken, 2 for a legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has, whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has power greater than this creature, you put a number of +1/+1 counters on this creature equal to the difference. This is pretty good as well. Wrecking Ball Arm. Equipped creature has base power and toughness 7/7 and can't be blocked by creatures with power of 2 or less. Equip legendary creature when it's so 3 to equip legendary creature, 7 to equip a regular creature. Interesting. Alright, Austere Command, sorcery for 6. Choose to destroy all artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures with mana value 3 or less, destroy all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. So essentially a board wipe that if you choose the 2 creatures, you can destroy all artifacts and equipment. Nice. Bastion Protector, commander creature you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. Wow, nice. Bronze Guardian. It's a 5 for us, star 5, double strike, ward 2. Whenever this creature becomes a target of a spell or ability, opponent controls counter it unless the player pays 2. Other artifacts you control have ward 2. Okay, so this kind of protects your artifacts. And then creature power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Nice. Alright, Clever Concealment. 4 for an instant. Convoke. Your creatures can help cast a spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 colorless or 1 mana of that creature's color. Any number of target non-land permanents control phase out. Okay, so probably 4 non-land permanents. So this is to hopefully prevent a board wipe. You can tap creatures, tap 4, phase them out, do your board wipe. Alright, Pure Steel Paladin. 2 mana for a 2/2. Whenever equipment you control enters, you may draw a card. Metalcraft equipment you control have equipped 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Ooh, that makes that that card earlier, the Steel Ball or something. We'll have 0. Nice. When you control 3. Alright, Unfinished Business. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and return out to 2 target or an equipment creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature. Okay, nice. It's kind of expensive though. 5. Vanquish the Horde. 8 sorcery. This spell costs 1 less cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy a creature. So another board wipe. This will cost 1 less cast for each creature. So okay, so it could cost essentially 2 if there's at least 6 creatures, and this is not just your creatures. This is everyone's creatures. So essentially, turn 2 board wipe if there's enough creatures. Chaos Warp. The owner of target permanent shuffles into the library, then reveals the top card of the library. If it's a permanent card, they put it into the battlefield. Interesting. You can cast it on anyone. You can cast it on yourself. Alright, Hellkite Tyrant. 6 for a 6/5. Flying Trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. Wow. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. So this is an instant win. And then you have a Professional Facebreaker. Menace. 3 for a 2/3. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control do combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Sacrifice a treasure, exile top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Nice. I got Decimate. 4. Destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. You can't cast a spell unless you have legal choices. Okay, so you have to destroy 4 things. Alright, Armory Automaton. Whenever this creature's enter, so it's a 3 for a 2/2 artifact creature. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may attach a number of target equipment to it. Control of equipment doesn't change. Interesting. Champion's Helm. 3 for a equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. As long as equipped creature is legendary, it is hexproof. And then equip 1 to equip. Pretty nice. Conqueror's Flail. It's another 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Nice. Dark Steel Plate. 3 for indestructible. Your creature has indestructible. Okay. Inspiring Sanctuary. Non-artifacts you cast have improvise. Your artifacts can help cast those spells. Each artifact you tap after you're done activate pays for 1. Nice. Sword of Animist. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search a library for a basic land and put it into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Very nice. You got a Battle Forge. Tap to add 1 mana. Tap to add red or white, and this land deals 1 damage to you. Bonder's Enclave, another land. Tap to add 1 colorless. Tap 3 and tap it, draw a card. Activate only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Brushland. Tap to add 1 colorless or green and white. Deals 1 damage. Enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands, and green or white. Red or green, same as the last one. This is Cinder Gale. Clifftop Retreat. Enters tapped unless you control a mountain or plains, and then you tap to add 1 or the other. Exotic Orchard. Add 1 of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Okay, so opponent's land color. Firelit Thicket. Add 1 colorless, tap 1 and tap it. Add 2 of red, 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 green, or green, green. Interesting. Fortified Village. Tap to add green or white. As this land enters, you may reveal a forest or plains card from your hand. If you don't, this land enters tapped. Fairy Calm Snarl. As this land enters, you may reveal a mountain or plains card from your hand. If you don't, this land enters tapped. Same as the last one. But it's red or white. You got a Game Trail, red or green. You got a Mossfire Valley, and tap a colorless and tap it. You add a red and green. Unless you control mountain or forest. Rootbound Crag, Rugged Prairie. Tap 2, add 2 of the color. Scavenger Grounds. Tap to add 1 colorless. Tap 2, sacrifice a desert. Interesting. Exile all graveyards. Alright. Slayer's Stronghold. Tap to add colorless. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. So you're essentially gets a 3 mana +2/+0 and vigilance and haste. Alright, Spire of Industry. Pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Only if you control artifact. Tap 1, tap it, get a green or white. Sungrass Prairie. Sunpetal Grove. Enters tapped unless you have a Forest of Plains, and then green or white. Scorched Divide. Tap 1, add red and white. Alright, now we're at the uncommons, so we'll try to move through these so this video can be somewhat reasonable. I'm not going to read the descriptions, but just kind of go through the cards. So we've got a Zach Fair, Barrett Wallace, Dispatch, Secret Rendezvous with Tifa, Furious Rise, Vandal Blast, Cultivate, Harmonize, Sad Scene, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, interesting, Behemoth Sledge, Arcane Signet, Colossus Hammer, +10/+10, and loses flying. Interesting. Explorer's Scope, Hero's Blade, Hero's Heirloom, Lightning Greaves, Mask of Memory, Skull Clamp. Okay, here we got a Soul Ring, Trailblazer's Boots, Ash Barons. Okay, we got some, here's the commons now. some common lands, Evolving Wilds, Jungle Shrine, Path of Ancestry, Radiant Grove, Sacred Peaks, Wooded Ridgeline, Command Tower. Then I think the rest of these are lands. So there's basically no creatures or any spells in here that are common other than lands that I saw. Everything else was either rare or uncommon, so this deck is pretty awesome in terms of value. Alrighty, well, let me get this sorted. Alright, gonna make sure I sleeve these. Thank you all for watching, and if you're still here, please like and subscribe for more.